Hi guys, and welcome back to Robbie D's Kitchen. I know it's been a minute, but today I'm going to be sharing with you a Guava Duff recipe. So let's just get into the video. So first I'm going to start off by taking the skin and the seeds out of the guavas that I had. I only had two, and I'm going to fill the remainder of the filling using the canned guava as you see there. Now, the pink guavas are hard to find in Canada, that's why I only had two, and they ripe very funny, so the seeds were still hard, as you can see me struggling to take them out. So, yeah. And then these are just some ingredients on the counter that I'll be using. As always, you'll have all of the ingredients down below if you want to make this recipe. So here I'm just cutting the guava into cubes because I'm going to cook it on the pan with some butter and brown sugar because they aren't that sweet, just to sweeten it a little bit more, get it nice and soft. And then you're also going to see me using these seeds. Now, because they were rock hard and I couldn't squeeze anything out of them, I kind of decided to blend them. So that was me trying to get something out of them, but it wasn't working. So I'm gonna blend them with a little bit of water to get a kind of pulp consistency, and then I'm gonna strain that to get all of the seeds and the gunk out of there. And that's what I will be using in my sauce. So this was the end result. I thought it came out pretty good, so if you want to do this as a quicker way, then that would be, well, it's not really quicker because then you got to strain it and that takes a while. So yeah, whatever your preference is, but I thought it came out pretty good. Now I'm gonna be cooking the guava and kind of mixing in the canned guava shells too. So I'm just adding a little bit of butter. I wouldn't add too much butter because you don't want it to be too wet your filling. So just gonna add that in the pan. And I'm also gonna be adding in a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg along with the brown sugar. So I just cooked it for a few minutes, let it simmer down until the guava shells, well, the fresh guava shells were nice and soft. So my dough will not be in this video, it will be in part 2, so make sure you subscribe to check out how I make my dough. So I divided it in two because I will be making another kind of duff. So make sure stay tuned for part two. So I just put that one to the side, and I'm just gonna work with this one. Gonna flour it down, and on my clean floured surface, I'm gonna roll it out until I get a nice shape, but it's not too thin. So I'm just gonna keep rolling. So once I get a shape that I like, I'm gonna add the filling. Now you want to spread it out good, but you don't want it to be too close to the edges, so keep about 1 to 2 inches, well, keep it about 1 to 2 inches away from the edges, just so that it doesn't spill out and make a mess and you lose your filling and all that stuff. So I kind of spread it out first, and then I kind of push it in a little bit more just to compact it a little bit. So once I have the filling exactly where I want it, I start to roll it up from the ends and just making sure I'm tucking and just taking my slow time. You don't want it to like push out or anything to happen to it, so just take your time. And then once I reach that end, I'm just gonna press that in. And you want to tuck the ends in as well, just so that the filling doesn't fall out when it boils. And I'm gonna compress that piece, the end piece, kind of roll it so that it closes. So I'm also just gonna roll it a bit to kind of conceal everything up, make sure everything's closed and tight. And then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna put my Guava Duff in some parchment paper first, and then I'm gonna kind of tie that down with some string and then roll it in foil. Now I'm just gonna be boiling my Guava Duff, so the water isn't really that hot yet, so I'm just gonna put it in there, and it fits. It doesn't cover the top, so I'll rotate it halfway through cooking. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do this because you're gonna put the lid on and then it can steam and cook anyway, but I just like to do that. Well, if your pot too a little bit too small, you don't have to do it. So that's the water starting to boil, so I could put the top on and then turn the heat down to medium low, and just let it cook. Now I'm gonna work on the sauce. So in my stand mixer, I'm gonna be adding some softened butter and just regular white sugar, and then I go mix that until it's nice and combined. I know everyone makes their sauce differently, so if you want to use confectioner sugar or powdered sugar, you could do that. If you want to add egg, you could do that, but I'm not doing any of those things. So as you mix your sauce, you just want to make sure that you're scraping down the sides if you're using a stand mixer, just to make sure everything gets well incorporated. So here I'm going to be adding in some vanilla extract. You could use rum if you want. I didn't feel like it. Oh, I actually did feel like it. So I used vanilla extract and rum. My bad, guys. I recorded this video a year ago, so and I haven't really watched it fully through. And just let that keep mixing until that's combined. And now I'm gonna take out half of that mixture because, like I said, I did make a different kind of duff. Stay tuned for part 2. Make sure you're subscribed so you won't miss out. And that's why you'll see it'll be less. And then I'm gonna add that guava pulp that I made earlier into the bowl. So I'm just gonna let that mix for a few minutes until it's well combined with the sauce. It was a lot pinker in person. It still looks pretty white in the footage, but it had like a slight pink tinge. And now here you can see that the guava duff is done. So I'm gonna take it out with some tongs and place it on a kitchen towel to kind of cool a little bit before I cut it. And here is the duff. It looked so pretty. And the dough came out really nice too. I was very happy with this stuff. I'm gonna cut it for you guys so you can see. It was very much filled with guava because I split the dough to make the next kind of guava duff that you'll see in part 2 because it was still too much dough, so I found if I did just use that for this, the regular guava duff, it would have been too doughy, and I don't really like my guava duff doughy. So there you have it, guys. Homemade guava duff my way. I'm just gonna be piping the sauce on here because I extra, so I put it in a little piping bag and put it on now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me. I'm at 500 subscribers now, even though I wasn't posting, so I really truly appreciate you guys. And I hope you guys stay tuned for the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye.